observes the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, questions are being raised about how the proposed Stand Your Ground legislation will impact the most vulnerable, specifically women, the elderly, and the poor. Opposition Senator Melanie Roberts-Radgman sat down with us to dissect the bill, arguing that it fundamentally ignores the socio-economic reality of Trinidad and Tobago. Here's more.
It's being hailed by some as a necessary measure for self-defense, but ridiculed by others as a dangerous copy-and-paste policy that could turn our communities into the Wild West. For Opposition Senator Roberts-Radgman, the government's push for Stand Your Ground legislation isn't just flawed, it's inherently classist. During an in-depth interview on Tobago Updates, Roberts-Radgman urged that the bill offers a false sense of security to the average citizen. She contends that without a legal firearm, a privilege largely reserved for the upper class, the legislation puts the majority of the population at a severe disadvantage against hardened criminals.
You said the self-defense already exists in common law. The right to defend yourself already exists in common law. But nonetheless, when you pilot this bill, or when you have this bill now, what it does is it favors the firearm users, obviously. So persons who already hold a firearm, it's easy enough for them to then defend themselves. But for persons who are not firearm users, and that's the majority of the population, it still puts you at a disadvantage.
Beyond the issue of firearms, the senator highlighted a uniquely Tobagoan dilemma, the definition of property boundaries or curtilage. In a society where communal family yards are the norm, determining exactly where one's ground begins and ends could prove legally disastrous.
But when you don't even have to look at apartments. Let's just look at how we live in Tobago, for instance, where there are several homes in one yard and all that space is shared. How then do you make a determination that, okay, this person was standing his ground because this is his property as opposed to his cousin whose house is right next to him?
Supporters of the bill often point to the United States as a model for success. However, a 2022 study revealed that state-level increases in homicide rates reached 10% or higher in U.S. states where similar laws were enacted, concluding that these laws don't defer crime. Senator Roberts-Radgman warned that ignoring these statistics could lead to a spike in wrongful deaths and vigilantism here at home.
It must also be noted that the research, the data coming out from those states have shown that stand your ground laws and even castle laws do not reduce the occurrence of home invasions. It does not reduce the occurrence of crime. What it does actually is it increases the occurrence of wrongful deaths as a result of careless mistakes, racial profiling, discrimination, that kind of thing.
With no sunset clause attached to the bill, the opposition maintains that the government should focus on police response times and social interventions rather than placing the burden on crime-fighting and untrained homeowners.